This women's 400-meter final could be an absolute epic. Can Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone repeat the heroics in the semi-final?
This women's 400-meter final could be an absolute epic. Can Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone repeat the heroics in the semi-final? Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone just ran the fastest 400-meter mid-decades, proving she's not just the queen of hurdles, but a force transforming track and field history itself. The question now, is she about to break the one record everyone thought was untouchable? She chose to skip her signature 400-meter hurdles event at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. This was the woman who had broken the 400-meter hurdles world record 6 times. She owns that event completely. Her current world record stands at 50.37 seconds, and no one comes close to touching it. So why would she give up a guaranteed gold medal to compete in an event where she faced much stronger competition? The risk was enormous. The flat 400-meter field included some of the fastest women in history. Marilady Paulino, the Dominican Republic superstar, was the defending champion and had been running incredible times all season. Salwa Adnasser from Bahrain was also in the mix, along with other world-class sprinters. These women don't just run fast, they run dangerously fast. McLaughlin-Levrone was stepping into their territory, leaving behind her safe space where she was untouchable. The Tokyo World Championships would either prove her incredible versatility or expose her as a one-event specialist who made a costly mistake. In 1985, East German sprinter Marita Koch ran 47.60 seconds in the 400 meters. For 40 years, that time has stood as the world record, but this record carries heavy baggage. After the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the truth about East Germany's systematic doping program came to light. The details were shocking. German molecular biologist Werner Franke and former Olympic discus thrower Brigitte Barendonck wrote in a 1997 article, several thousand athletes were treated with androgens every year, including minors of each sex. Special emphasis was placed on administering androgens to women and adolescent girls because this practice proved to be particularly effective for sports performance. Koch herself always denied the allegations. "I never tested positive," she told the BBC in 2014. "I never did anything which I should not have done at that time." But the shadow of doubt remained over her record, and many in the sport considered it essentially unbreakable by clean athletes. For modern sprinters, breaking 48 seconds in the 400 meters became the holy grail. Getting anywhere close to Koch's time seemed impossible. This context makes what happened in Tokyo even more remarkable. McLaughlin-Levrone approached this challenge with a champion's mindset. "At the end of the day, this wasn't my title to hold on to. It was mine to gain," she said, reflecting on her approach. Her coach, Bobby Kersey, used boxing terminology to motivate her. "Bobby uses boxing terms all the time. He said, 'You've got to go out there and take the belt. It's not yours. You've got to go earn it.' This mental approach proved crucial. McLaughlin-Levrone wasn't defending anything. She was attacking. Race day in Tokyo brought electric atmosphere. The women's 400-meter final featured the deepest field in decades. McLaughlin-Levrone had already made history by reaching the final, but now she had to deliver when it mattered most. "I felt that somebody was going to have to run 47-something to win this," Coach Kersey had predicted. "She trained for it. She took on the challenge, took on the risk. She's just an amazing athlete that I can have no complaints about to molt." The race evolved exactly as Kersey expected. From the gun, it was clear this would be something special. The field went out fast, with multiple women running personal best pace through the first 200 meters. McLaughlin-Levrone was in perfect position, running relaxed but ready to strike. The final 100-meter became a battle for the ages. McLaughlin-Levrone and Paulino were stride for stride, neither giving an inch. The crowd was on its feet as these two extraordinary athletes pushed each other to new heights. McLaughlin-Levrone crossed the line first in 47.78 seconds, just 0.19 seconds away from Koch's world record. But she wasn't alone in making history. Paulino finished second in 47.788 seconds. For the first time since 1985, two women had broken 48 seconds in the same race. Salwa Adnasser took third in 48 seconds, making it a race for the ages.
Salwa Adnasser took third in 48.19 seconds, making it a race for the ages.
Stay as relaxed as possible, McLaughlin-Levrone explained after the race. "Today was a really great race for track and field, and I'm grateful to put myself in position to bring an exciting event to our sport." Her sportsmanship shone through in her victory speech. "You don't run something like that without amazing women pushing you to it," she said, acknowledging her competitors who had elevated the entire field. This performance represented McLaughlin-Levrone's 19th straight victory in one-lap races, including both hurdles and flat events, since June 2023. But this victory carried special significance. McLaughlin-Levrone became the first person ever to win world titles in both the 400-meter hurdles and the flat 400 meters. This achievement puts her in exclusive company in track and field history. Very few athletes have ever dominated at the highest level in multiple events, especially events as demanding as these. The performance also established McLaughlin-Levrone as a legitimate threat to Koch's world record. Coming within 0.19 seconds of a time, many thought untouchable by clean athletes, sends a clear message to the sport. The record that seemed unbreakable suddenly looks vulnerable. McLaughlin-Levrone has a signature collection with New Balance, reflecting her status as one of track and field's biggest stars. Elite athletes often partner with major brands, and her success across multiple events only increases her marketability and influence in the sport. The natural question now is whether McLaughlin-Levrone will attempt to compete in both events at the same major championship. The possibility of a 400-meter hurdles and flat 400-meter double would be unprecedented in modern track and field. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of doubles, McLaughlin-Levrone admitted. Is it possible is one thing, do I want to do it is another. Historical precedent exists for accommodating exceptional athletes. Michael Johnson famously doubled in the 200 and 400 meters at the 1996 Olympics. Allyson Felix competed in multiple events throughout her career. Olympic organizers have shown willingness to adjust schedules for marquee athletes when the stars align. Coach Kersey is clearly pushing the idea, especially with the 2028 Olympics coming to Los Angeles. "We lost out here," Kersey told the Associated Press, referring to the Tokyo scheduling. Back then in the day, they knew where the talent was and what was best for the fans, for the possibility to see greatness, and they adjusted the time schedule to it. But McLaughlin-Levrone remains realistic about the challenges. Those are two really hard events with really great fields. You cannot discredit any of those women. That's a big undertaking. The physical and mental demands of competing at the highest level in two different events would be enormous. Both the 400-meter hurdles and flat 400 meters require months of specific preparation. The techniques, or six or crawler, warts or sexity, leg training, and race tactics are significantly different. Schedule conflicts also present major obstacles. Championship meets rarely accommodate double attempts in these events because of the demands on athletes and the complexity of organizing multiple rounds. Her faith plays a central role in her approach to competition. "I wanted to stay diligent in where I felt the Lord had me," she explained. This spiritual foundation has helped her navigate the pressures of elite competition and make bold decisions like switching events. The growth from hurdle specialist to multi-event threat showcases McLaughlin-Levrone's incredible athletic ability and willingness to challenge herself. She could have stayed in her comfort zone, collecting easy victories in the 400-meter hurdles. Instead, she chose to test herself against the world's best in a different event. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone didn't just win in Tokyo, she redefined what's possible in track and field. Whether she attempts the unprecedented double remains to be seen, but her dominance across events has already secured her legacy as the greatest 400-meter hurdler of all time, and now a formidable force in the flat 400 meters. The track and field world waits to see what impossible barriers she'll break next. This 23-year-old from Switzerland just destroyed every favorite in the most shocking upset you'll see this year. That's exactly what happened at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, when Ditaji Kambundji left the entire track and field world speechless. On September 15, 2025, at Tokyo's National Stadium, the women's 100-meter hurdles final was supposed to be a battle between the sport's biggest names. You had Masai Russell from the United States, the Olympic champion who ran the world's fastest time this year at 12:17 seconds. Then there was Tobi Amusan from Nigeria, the world record holder, Danielle Williams from Jamaica, the defending world champion, Grace Stark from the US, who had won 3 Diamond League races this season. And then there was Ditaji Kambundji, the Swiss athlete who most people probably couldn't even pronounce her name correctly. She wasn't even the most famous athlete in her own family. That honor belonged to her older sister, Majinga, who had won world championships and set records of her own.
Tobi Amusan going well, but look at Ditaji Kambundji in lane 3! The Swiss athlete!
But not championship winning fast. At least that's what everyone thought. She had been eliminated in the semifinals at the Paris Olympics just a year earlier. 2 years ago at the World Championships in Budapest, she finished 7th in the final. Not exactly the resume of a world champion. But here's the thing about track and field. Sometimes the stars align in ways nobody expects. The race started like any other. 8 women lined up, each believing they could win. Russell, the favorite, actually got off to the worst start with the slowest reaction time of all the runners. That should have been the first sign that this wasn't going to go according to script. Kambundji, meanwhile, got out of the blocks perfectly. She was smooth over the first few hurdles while Russell was already struggling, hitting hurdle after hurdle and never finding her rhythm. The Olympic champion, who was supposed to dominate, was falling apart in real time. As they approached the finish line, something incredible was happening. Kambundji was still in front. Imusan, the world record holder, was charging hard but couldn't catch the Swiss runner. Stark was holding on for third. When Kambundji crossed the line, she didn't even know she had won. She ran with her eyes almost closed in those final meters, completely focused on just getting to the finish. When she looked up at the scoreboard and saw her name at the top, she burst into tears. The time was 12.24 seconds. Not only had she won her first world championship, she had broken the Swiss national record by a massive 0.16 seconds. To put that in perspective, that's like a miler taking 4 full seconds off their personal best. It just doesn't happen at this level of competition. After the race, Kambundji was still in shock. "It's crazy," she said while trying to process what had just happened. "I was giving my all. I tried to focus on myself. I was calm and pretty collected. I knew I had it in me. You could see on my face how happy I was when I realized I won. I was surprised. I thought that I was able to do it, but I was surprised because I knew all my competitors were able to win. That's the mark of a true champion right there." Even in her moment of triumph, she was humble enough to acknowledge how good her competition was. So where did the favorites go wrong? Russell, who many expected to win easily, never recovered from that poor start. She kept hitting hurdles throughout the race, completely disrupting her rhythm. After the race, she showed the class of a true professional, refusing to make excuses. "Every race is a learning opportunity. I have lost more than I ever won," Russell said. "This is not unfamiliar territory for me. The job is not finished here." Williams, the defending champion, hit the second hurdle hard and never got back into the race, finishing 7th. Even Accra Nugent from Jamaica, who had been having a great season, didn't even make it to the final. Meanwhile, Amundsen did manage to get silver in 12.29, and Stark held on for bronze in 12.34. But this was Kambundji's moment. What makes this story even better is the family connection. Kambundji's parents and aunt had traveled all the way from Switzerland to Tokyo to watch her race. Her father, Safuka, who moved from the Democratic Republic of Congo to Switzerland over 40 years ago, and her mother, Ruth, were in the stands crying tears of joy as their daughter became a world champion. Her sister, Majinga, who couldn't travel because she's expecting her first child in November, was watching from home in Switzerland. Ditaji was so emotional after the race that she immediately got on FaceTime to call her sister and grandmother back home, sobbing with happiness the entire time. "I am sure my sister is excited for me," Kambundji said. "It's exciting to have her support. I was thinking about her a lot during these days. Our bond is really special. I know she will be thrilled. I am bringing home something really incredible." The victory was historic for Switzerland in multiple ways. It was the country's first ever gold medal in the women's 100-meter hurdles at a World Championships. Kambundji became just the 3rd Swiss athlete to win a World Championship in track and field, joining Andre Butcher, who won the 800 meters in 2001, and shot putter Werner Günther, who won 3 titles in the late 80s and early 90s. But this wasn't just luck. Kambundji had been building toward this moment all season. She had been running consistently in the 12.40 to 12.50 range, which is good but not great. The difference was that she knew she had something faster in her. She just needed the perfect race to bring it out. "I've been running very consistently in the 12.40 to 12.50 range this season, but I never had the race where I could do everything," she explained. "I knew that a time in the 20s was possible. That confidence came from years of learning and growing." Her 7th place finish at the 2023 World Championships wasn't seen as a failure, but as a learning experience. That's the mentality that separates good athletes from great ones. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, Kambundji used them as fuel to get better. She also developed what she called a now or never mentality. Kambundji said, "I feel very comfortable in the now or never zone. No matter what happened throughout the season, what happened in the preliminaries, what happened in the semifinal, it all comes down to this one moment." That mindset proved crucial when it mattered most. While the favorites were feeling the pressure of expectations, Kambundji was free to run her own race. She wasn't worried about defending a title or living up to world record times. She was just trying to run the best race of her life. The technical side of her victory was just as impressive. Her time of 12.24 made her the joint 7th fastest woman in history in the event. It was just 0.4 seconds off the European record that has stood for 27 years. For a Swiss athlete to run that fast was almost unthinkable before this race. What made it even more special was where it happened. Tokyo's National Stadium was the same venue where Kambundji had competed in her first Olympics back in 2021. That experience didn't go well, but it was an important step in her development as an athlete. The Swiss media went wild after the victory. The tabloid Blick wrote that the screams of her sisters must have been heard until the Japanese capital, calling the victory a sensation. Former shot put champion Werner Gunther jokingly suggested that Kambundji should be crowned Switzerland's first athletics queen. The women's 100-meter final at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo was supposed to be a showdown. With Olympic champion Julianne Alfred on one side, rising Jamaican talent Tina Clayton on the other, and veterans like Sha'Carri Richardson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in the mix, the stage was set for a classic sprint duel. But instead, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden turned it into a masterclass. Jefferson-Wooden exploded from the blocks and within 50 meters had already built a lead that no one could touch. She powered through the line in 10.61 seconds, breaking the championship record and clocking the 4th fastest time in history. No woman had ever run that fast at a world championship before. Her margin of victory was stunning, 0.15 seconds ahead of Tina Clayton, who ran a personal best 10.76 for silver, and Olympic champion Julianne Alfred, who claimed bronze in 10.84. Sha'Carri Richardson crossed in 10.94 for 5th, while Fraser-Pryce in her final world championship appearance finished 6th in 11.03. I have been dreaming of this moment, Jefferson-Wooden said after the race. Instead of putting the pressure on myself, I just embraced it. When the gun went off, I thought, come on, get out strong. The rest went like a blink of an eye. This wasn't just one race, it was the perfect cap to a flawless season. Jefferson-Wooden had not lost a single 100-meter all year. She had run under 11 seconds in every race, dominating fields across the globe and showing consistency rarely seen in sprinting. This year was about accepting that I wanted to be a better athlete and putting in the work to do so, she explained. The work clearly paid off. From the first Diamond League meets to the final in Tokyo, she was untouchable. Her victory also marked a redemption arc.